Hey guys, Marsingan here, bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today I'm going to talk a little bit about God Goku, his return, and red coins. I've had a lot of people ask me today already, both on the earlier stream and on Twitter and all other such all over the place, about whether or not they should buy Goku with red coins, whether he's worth spending the coins on, whether they should buy one of the other featured units. So we're going to talk about God Goku primarily, as well as two other big main candidates that I think are worthy of your red coins. We can touch briefly on some of the other units that are featured on the banner as well, but mainly we will be looking at these three specific units. So obviously, first of all, we'll start off with God Goku himself. So God Goku finally has returned to Global. This is your first opportunity to get him if you did not get him in Saiyan Day in March. So obviously a lot of people out there have been waiting patiently for his return, whether to get the first copy or whether to just get dupes. And so obviously the question always comes up when a unit comes back for the first time. A lot of people want to pick them up with coins, but as you know, with this game, there can often be different levels of power creep. And sometimes when a unit actually comes back for the first time, especially at 55%, they won't even necessarily be that great. Because that's the other thing you have to think about. If you're thinking about buying God Goku with red coins, unless you have a ton of coins that you want to spend, you're obviously only going to be getting the one copy, and then he's going to be at 55%. So that is something that we have to take into account. Now, God Goku, I guess I should say to start with, usually the way I have talked about red coins over the years since they were introduced is that I think red coins are more often than not best saved for Dokkan Fest exclusive LRs, because they return less frequently, especially the newer ones, right? The older ones start to appear on random banners every now and then, or like reappear every anniversary or worldwide, stuff like that. But newer Dokkan Fest exclusive LRs, if you miss out on them the first time around, a lot of the time you have to wait a very long time, especially like with Global. The situation with the worldwide has always been us having to wait like 10 months for those units to come back. So I generally recommend saving your red coins for Dokkan Fest exclusive LRs. Obviously it's 500 red coins. You know, we've just had Vegito Blue and Zamasu release during the worldwide celebration. So again, those are units that would potentially be high on the list for people who are saving red coins for the most optimal units. But when it comes to God Goku, I do actually genuinely think he is one of the TURs that is absolutely worth buying with red coins if you don't have him. And there's a couple of reasons for that. So God Goku, I would say at this point, I mean, obviously I speak from Global most of the time, but I do believe it is the case on JP as well, that God Goku is easily still a top 3 TUR, right? He's still one of the best TURs in the game, not including like easy A's and stuff, of course, right? But easily still a top 3 TUR. I think he absolutely is on Global. Obviously people have disagreements. There's been a lot of debate on the timeline recently between like 23rd World Tournament Goku and Godku. I've made my stance clear on that in Twitter. I think Goku is better, but this isn't a video to get into all of that. Regardless of whether you think World Tournament Goku is better, I feel like this guy is like number 3 at the bare minimum, right? So God Goku, one of the reasons why he is so good is his leader skill. His leader skill is Pure Saiyans or Hybrid Saiyans, 170% 3 key, and then 30% extra to Power of Wishes or Exploding Rage. Obviously, Power of Wishes and Pure Saiyans is like most anniversary units and stuff a lot of the time. There's a lot of very, very good units on that leader skill, but it's more so the Pure Saiyans and Hybrid Saiyans combination at 170 that makes him so incredibly useful. There are so many easy A's and Super Battle Road stages and stuff in the game right now that if you're a newer player, you're not somebody like me where you're up to date with everything that's already come out, right? If there's a bunch of stuff you need to get done in the game, or even looking ahead to things that will be coming out, like God Goku is on so many categories. If we scroll down here and look at all of these, any easy A's that come out that require any of these categories as like the bonus category for you to use for your team, you can throw God Goku on as the leader and then just build a full team of Pure Saiyans and Hybrid Saiyans as long as they fit under that category. And then not only is God Goku going to put in work as the leader anyway, but then yeah, all of those units are under his leader skill. You can mix and match. Obviously it means you're restricted to Pure Saiyans and Hybrid Saiyans, like we talked about. One of the recent ECAs that dropped was Power of Wishes. So obviously you can't use characters like Bulma and stuff like that, because even though he's giving the extra 30% to Power of Wishes, she's not on his 170. But aside from a few units like her, Piccolo, this guy has some of the best units in the game on his team, and a lot of them are under his 200% leader skill as well. So this guy has a huge amount of potential as a leader, not just for you building teams for beating things like Red Zone, but stuff like Easy A's, various other different things. Super Battle Road was the other example. I drew a blank for a second there. So many things you can just make this guy a leader. Now, the other reason why I think he is so good, because I don't even really need to talk about his kit in general. Like, his kit is just good, right? He's a good unit. He changes orbs, as long as you get his entrance animation, which, as long as you only have one extreme unit on the team that he's on, and the other 6 units, including the friend, are super class, then it's fine, right? He gets his intro animation, so he gets an extra attack buff, and he changes orbs. He needs 3 orbs in order to have a 60% chance to dodge, and then he needs 6 orbs in order to guard and get a guaranteed additional super, and he is an infinite stacking unit. So, I mean, straight off the bat, like, he's really good. Even if you can only get 3 orbs, there are situations where, against some of the tougher bosses, if he's not guarding and he doesn't dodge, he will take damage, of course, potentially even a lot of damage. But as long as you've got the 3 orbs, you have a 60% chance to dodge. So he can still be very reliable. And once he's gotten a few supers off, it's not like his defense stat is very low. He actually has very good defense, so even without the guard, he can be fine, especially type neutral or, of course, in type advantage. He can still be very good defensively. So his kit is fine, right? He is what it is. He has himself as a good unit, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's great to get with coins. The leader skill is one big reason, and then the other one, which we already touched on when we scrolled down, is the number of categories that he's on, and then this plays into effect with his link set. So his link set, Super Saiyan, Shocking Speed, Over in a Flash, Prepared for Battle, Fierce Battle. The only reason I missed out those ones is these are links that are very, very common on a lot of other teams where you're going to be running other Saiyan units, Hybrid Saiyans, like Super Saiyan, Prepared for Battle, and Fierce Battle at a bare minimum. He's going to share those 3 links with tons of other units in the game that you're going to be running on other teams. And then because he also has Over in a Flash and Shocking Speed, it literally doesn't matter what unit you're bringing that's like a Saiyan or a Fusion or whatever. If they don't have Prepared for Battle, they probably have Shocking Speed, or they have Over in a Flash, or some combination of the 3, right? And he has all 3. So that, in combination with his categories, means that he is a unit that you can just throw onto any team that he fits on. Like, any category team, you can just throw him on, as long as he's actually on the category, obviously. I mean, technically, you could run him off lead and just hope you always get the 3 orbs and he always dodges, but, you know, you can throw him on any team and he's going to be good. Nothing in his passive restricts him to being run on a certain category, restricts him to being run with certain allies, outside of his entrance animation, which, I mean, for the most part, I don't imagine you'd be throwing him on a team that was full of extreme class enemies anyway. I guess Zamasu has that sort of Realm of Gods-like team, but mostly his only restriction is super class allies. But because of his links, like, those are the units you're going to be running him with anyway if you wanted to throw him on another team. So things like Realm of Gods, that is largely made up of, like, obviously you can do other builds, but a Realm of Gods team that is largely made up of Saiyans or Fusions, Pure Saiyans, obviously. Things like Movie Heroes, Goku Family, Super Saiyan, Kamehameha, Turtle School, Bond of Friendship, Battle of Fate, Power Beyond Super Saiyan, Bond of Parent and Child, Power of Wishes. Like, so many of these categories are full of characters that share links with him, and you just throw him in, and he's just good on that team. And that is, again, we're not going to get into the whole discussion, but that's one of the reasons why I think he's better than 23rd World Tournament Goku. Because 23rd World Tournament Goku, his link set is still good, but not as good, and he is restricted by really wanting to be run with another unit that can get their revival really easily, so you can really turn on, like, his full potential. Whereas otherwise, unfortunately, I've had many instances in my own personal experience, yours might be different, maybe you love 23rd World Tournament Goku, think he's better than God Goku. So many times his guard doesn't activate on turn 3 and he gets you killed. So obviously, as new units come out that can revive, JP now has that Gohan and Piccolo that can revive literally pretty much like straight away, and then that makes 23rd World Tournament Goku really good. But you do have to think about team building. The example I give is I could build a team, pick the first 5 units, and then just go, just throw God Goku in there and he'll be fine. Whereas I can't really do that for 23rd World Tournament Goku. So this Goku, 100% worth the coins. Now, speaking about 23rd World Tournament Goku, no, like, as much as I think that God Goku is slightly better than him, and I'm not saying there's a massive gap, this guy is still a top 3 TUR as well. Like, for me, it goes this guy, then God Goku, then him, right? So it's not like I think he's bad or anything. he's very, very good. And if you run him on a team with the GT duo, when Gohan and Piccolo eventually come out, as long as you can get a character to revive and he gets his permanent guard as well as the other buffs that he gets, he becomes an absolute madman. And because he is a Goku, he obviously still is on a lot of categories as well. It's just the fact that because he is a base Goku, and unfortunately the 23rd World Tournament characters get screwed out of being on any sagas because they're not on DB Saga, and obviously they're before Z, so they're way too early for the Saiyan Saga. He does lose out on a bunch of categories, and because he's base, so obviously he's not on categories like Super Saiyan, Power Beyond, all that kind of stuff. So he is still very, very good. So if you're considering getting Goku with your coins, he is a good option as well, especially if you do have God Goku and you're wondering whether or not to get 23rd World Tournament Goku. And of course, then there is Piccolo. The reason why I wanted to bring this guy up is he is probably the best TUR on pure performance alone. But again, going back to things like various different types of utility and team building, I could see arguments for putting God Goku above Piccolo Jr., not based on their performance. Like this guy, if you get his best turn, he's an absolute monster. Does crazy damage, tanks really well. He has the giant form that you can use to obviously cancel out enemy super attacks for a turn. He has the active skill. The only downside is when you compare him to like God Goku, look at his link set and the categories that he's on. Now, he benefits from being on like 23rd World Tournament Goku's team, but his links, like big bad bosses, good for extreme teams, but then a lot of those other extreme teams, the only other link he's going to share with them is Fierce Battle and potentially Thirst for Conquest. And then on super type teams, he's not going to be getting big bad bosses active. And when we look at his categories, like World Tournament is a good team now. Giant Form has made some strides. Namekian is still kind of eh. And then we got extreme teams. Gifted Warriors is an interesting one because it's mostly Piccolos and then like Vegetas and stuff. So like his categories and his links, if we were just rating them on those alone, God Goku clears Piccolo Jr. quite easily. But as I say, on his best turn, judging him just by his performance, Piccolo Jr. is insane and clearly is worthy of being considered the best TUR in the game. And of course, the big thing is Global is getting a World Tournament tomorrow, and Piccolo Jr. is hands down the best World Tournament unit because of his active skill. Mega Colossal damage to all enemies, and it disables an enemy action. And in the World Tournament, the characters on that rotation that you're up against only ever attack once each anyway. So he either kills them all, and if they survive, he removes them from even being able to attack you. So his then super attacks or the other units on the rotation actually finish off the units who survived his AoE. And it can be activated immediately when facing 2 or more enemies. So straight away on turn 1, you make sure you have your animation skip turned on and you just swipe up, boom, the entire enemy team's dead and you move on to the next phase. So he is by far the best World Tournament unit. If you're someone who only wants to grind the minimum amount of missions and points, get those all done, and then you don't care about your overall ranking and you stop there, this guy will let you get that done the quickest time possible. And I can tell you from experience, I only pulled 1 copy of him during the Golden Week celebration, and then when the next World Tournament came out, having him at 55% was more than good enough for me to just bolt through the World Tournament so much quicker than usual. He is an absolute beast. So when it comes to red coins, I would say all 3 of these units are absolutely worth getting with red coins. The only things I guess to consider is we don't really know when these guys will be back again. Maybe New Year on the Dual Dokkan Fest, especially if it is shared with JP. Because these guys obviously released as a Dual Dokkan Fest, so that's usually when they will be returning on banners, unless it's something like this where they return together on sort of a filler type banner. And then this guy, he should still return on the Androids banner when that comes to Global, and that potentially will be in January or early February, but then he will of course be back on the Saiyan Day banner because the previous Saiyan Day unit is always featured on the banner. So when we get the new Saiyan Day unit in March, God Goku will be featured. But if you're sat there right now, you have 400 red coins, you don't have any of these 3 characters, and you want to know who you should get, Piccolo Jr. is going to be the go-to for if you really want to play the World Tournament. If you don't care about it and you're just going to slowly play over the weekend to get the 30 million points and stop, and you know you can get that done by the end of the weekend without having to get Piccolo Jr., then I definitely think in terms of which unit is most useful for your box overall, it is going to be God Goku. So God Goku is definitely worth getting with red coins. The only thing I will add at the end here that maybe I should have mentioned at the beginning, when it comes to spending red coins, and people always ask me, should I buy this unit with red coins? Should I buy this unit? there are a couple of things to factor in. The first one is, how many coins do you have? So once you've bought him, how many coins do you have left? Because then that leads into question 2, how quickly do you get coins back? Because if you're free to play, and obviously you don't summon a lot, it's going to take you a lot longer to get back up to the amount of coins to buy another unit. So you obviously have to be a lot more careful with your purchases. And if you only have 400 coins, you're going to buy this guy, and then that's it, right? You're not going to have coins to buy another unit for a few months, right? So you do have to think about it very, very carefully. But if you've decided, you know, you want to get one of these units, maybe you are thinking about God Goku, you want to know if it's worth it, absolutely, I think that God Goku is worth getting with red coins, and same with the other two as well. If you already have, like, say you're only missing one of them and you want to coin the other one, I would say these 3 TURs are all absolutely worth your red coins. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Do you have these guys? Are you picking them up with coins? Let me know your thoughts. And yeah, very interesting that we got this banner, God Goku, finally back on Global. Going to be very fun to see a lot of people who didn't have him before finally getting their hands on him and getting to see how good he can be. So let me know all your thoughts on him, your red coins. How have you spent your red coins in the past? Let me know down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.